Okay, so we are back to the next lesson. Today we are going to be discussing updates. We're going to be discussing updates, delete, alter. Yeah, so basically these three concepts, very important concepts we need to get to have a grip on when learning SQL. Right, so let's begin with updates. I want to update my restaurant dataset table. I want to update my restaurant dataset table. So on my update, I would like to set within type, or before I do this, okay, let me just go ahead. I want to set within type as continental as continental, where restaurant name equals restaurant 5. Okay, but before I proceed with this, so it will not look as if I'm just typing some stuff, I'm just making stuff up. It will be good for me to display my restaurant dataset table. So I'll be selecting all from my restaurant dataset table. So we see, good, this is my restaurant dataset table. I had done this before, just before the class started. I just wanted to try my hands around the things I'm going to teach. And before now, I had changed my restaurant 5 within type 2 continental. All right, so that's what we're trying to do. Except now, I'm not going to make use of restaurant 5 anymore. I think I'll just probably make use of restaurant 6 and change it from Nigerian to continental. Let's see if it will work. All right, so I would like to put that change on restaurant 6 and execute this. And I've seen one row affected. All right, so if I display my restaurant data set table, I'm going to see that label shows restaurant 5, which I did previously before the class started, shows continental. And now restaurant 6, which I just did now, also shows continental. It's important to note that when you're making use of update query, it will affect your original data, right? Anytime you call out your restaurant data set table, you see that these changes we have made is permanent, okay? Unless otherwise you have a backup of your data somewhere that you could re-upload on your database, or better still, you back it up on another database so that if there's an error, you can call it back from another database to continue your analysis. However, what we have just done has affected our original data, our restaurant data set data. Okay. Still on update, let me give a second example. I want to update my restaurant data set, of course. I want to update my restaurant data set. What do I want to do? I want to set rating. There's a column called rating equals 4.5, where location equals Abuja. This system entails doing a massive change, right? For this particular example, I was referencing is a particular line, a particular restaurant. But in this new example, I'm referencing the whole Abuja community. Okay, so let me just execute this and see. I'm seeing that 39 rows have been affected. 39 rows have been affected. So if I decide to select, I want to select everything from my restaurant data set where location equals Abuja. Let's see our changes. Let's see our changes. Okay. If I do this and then I scroll to the side, you see that everything under my rating is 4.5 for 4.5, 4.5 for all of my Abuja location. That is a massive change that has been done there. Right. So that, my friends, is for updates. Now for delete, same thing. Same thing, it's going to affect your original data. So I want to delete from restaurant data set where menu item equals suya. So any menu item that involves suya taking off my data. That's what I'm trying to do. All right. So before I engage this, I like this to display my table in itself. Under menu item, I want to believe that there are some. Yes, look at some of this suya. It means this guy would go, and any other one that has any other restaurant that serves suya, all that line will be gone. So if I execute this, 26 rows affected. It means 26 data representation is gone from my restaurant data set. All right. So if I call out my table again, I have just 474 rows. Initially it was 500, but now it's 474. All right, that's a massive impact. Any restaurant selling suya is off our data. We do not want to work with that. Okay, so I can also go ahead to do another delete statement. Let's say we want to delete from our restaurant data set where rating is less than. We don't want to work with that. We want to take off restaurants that have very low ratings. We want to get rid of restaurants with low ratings. So we can go ahead to do that by typing out delete from restaurant data set where ratings is less than 1. Okay. I execute this, 0 rows affected. I don't have any restaurants with less than 1 rating. I think I have 1 and above. So there was no effect based on this. No row was deleted. Great. Now that's for delete. The next concept we would like to look at is the alter statement. The alter statements. This too affects the original data you have on the database. Okay, so I want to type in alter table my restaurant data set table. My restaurant data set table. I want to alter it. And I want to add a new column called service type. I want to add a new column, service type. This service type column is going to hold a virtual data type with minimum, what's happening here? The minimum, the total, it's a maximum of 50 characters. Sorry, maximum of 50 characters. Then let me run this and execute. And that has been done successfully. If I open up my restaurants data set and scroll all the way to the end, I will see a new column called service type, except that there are no values in it. So since we've created a new column, how then do we, question I'm throwing out now, how do we apply values to this service type? I'm going to do one example and throw out the other example as a task. I will be using the update statement, right? Update. We have to update our table. Remember, everything we are learning in this particular class affects our original data. Our original data now has a new column called service type, but this service type does not have any content in it. So it then means we have to update our table and input values under service type. That means we are going to use our update statement and we are going to pull out our table, which is our restaurant data set. What do we want to do? We want to set service type. I want to set service type. The service type is spelled with SS capital letter. Equals walk in. Equals walk in. Where within type equals Nigerian. So what am I doing here? Any cuisine type that is Nigerian, set the service type as walk-in. Let's try that and see. No errors, 221 rules affected. Let's pull out our tables to see the change. I like this. Great. And if I scroll all the way down, I now have some values under service type: walk in, walk in, walk in, walk in. Anywhere you see walk in, it means this is a Nigerian cuisine type. Okay, that said, we have two other cuisine types to work with: the intercontinental and the continental. The task I have is set service type as delivery under intercontinental and continental cuisine type. So you can do that and send it to me as an email or on our community chat. Just send the response. If you do that, I will know you have gotten to this level of our lessons and you made an attempt. Great. All right, so that brings us to another example for alter. I've given one example. Another example I want to give is let me type out questions underscore data set. This time around, I want to rename a column. You can also rename a column, it's possible. Rename name column. Using type to using. All right, something like this. Let's see if it works. Incorrect syntax, renew. Right, so this particular statement doesn't work with this version of SQL that we have, but it is very possible in other flavors SQL. Also, kindly note, we've been going on and on in our classes. If we are using MySQL, all of this statement works perfectly fine, except that before you go into your next line of action, you have to put in a semicolon to show that you are done with a particular command, right? By the time you are done with a certain command, you have to put a semicolon to show that you are done. If not, if you don't do that and you continue another line of command, it will look as though it's a continuation from the previous. If you are working with MySQL, every command we are giving here works with MySQL. All right. So just ensure that if you are using MySQL, add the semicolon at the end of your command. Thank you. Very important. That brings us to the end of this particular class. See you in the next.